obviously delighted to be here with President Chartier and sign what is, I think, just if I could be so bold as to say, not only a milestone and historic document, but really just a symbol of a concrete symbol, if you will, a concrete example of what I think has been a very good and a blossoming relationship between our government and the Métis Nation. I just think it's, when you think of, I've only been in this portfolio for a year, but in the last year, if I can just pick that period, I won't speak to before that, but because I don't have intimate knowledge, but in the last year, to be able to not only talk about the issues, everything from economic development to Métis veteran rights, compensation in residential schools, other things that the President has raised with me and with the Prime Minister, to see all those things kind of talked about, to see it, exchanges of letters. I know you raised this personally with the Prime Minister, and then to be able to get this document together is, I just think is, by all accounts, by government speed, this is like lightning speed, and but all of it reflects a consistent pattern. You establish your relationship. We've built on that relationship, a growing level of trust between our two governments, if you will. The personal relationship, which I think is very, very healthy, and a degree of honesty on the issues that, as I say, now just thinking back to the day of the apology, when some of these very same issues were raised in the room with the Prime Minister about things that we needed to deal with. So to see this develop like this into something formal of this nature is just a delight for me. This is the sort of thing that I come to work for. These are big steps for us and the government, and for me personally, and because of that relationship building exercise. I do know of course there's more work to be done. We know that. We talked a little bit on the phone last night. Some of this is going to involve some core funding issues, which I've promised to address as we move forward, and we look forward to those discussions, and it's part of, obviously going to have to be part of what we discuss, and I understand that and realize that, and we'll certainly, that'll be part of what we need to do moving forward. It also involves, and this isn't uncommon either, but it also involves kind of an all-of-government approach, and that's why, although we've kept it at the big principled level, talking about the issues that matter to the Métis National Council and to Métis across the country, it is going to involve more than just my department. But by signing on, I'm signing on for the government. So if it involves other departments, it'll be my responsibility to make sure they're at the table in a meaningful way to discuss whatever issues come up, because it's not just my department that deals with the Métis. There's, for example, human resources, a good example of where the Métis and the HRSDC minister have to establish that relationship, because the Métis is increasingly delivering programs on behalf of Government of Canada to their membership in a very efficient and a very good way, and I think we've talked about some of that as well. So obviously part of my responsibility will be to engage the rest of government when necessary, and that'll be part of our tripartite arrangement. The final thing I'd just like to mention is that it does involve other levels of government.
Yes.
Provincial governments, regional organizations, and so on. And so I do think that, I do hope that one of the first things that we'll be able to work on together is to regularize the meetings. We'll come up with a work plan, of course, but I do think what we want to do is formalize a meeting schedule so that all levels of government are there on a regular basis to discuss issues of importance to the Métis people and to the Government of Canada, provincial governments as well. I think by doing that, we send a message through the system, if you will, that there's whatever work plans we've arranged and agreed to, that we've set certain bars in place. We expect them to be met and exceeded, and that we want to make sure we have a regularity of meetings so that we don't drop the ball. And so I hope is one of our first items on the first agenda, so that all governments will agree to that, and then there'll be other provincial and other elections come and go and so on. But more importantly, governments will have committed then to meet on a regular basis regardless, and that I think will be key to making something like this successful. So again, I want to just as a little aside, I said it last night on the conference call, but I just want to thank the Metis organization, I think we can use a plural, organizations plural, for really pushing ahead with this. I mean, we've had an exchange of letters that covered a lot of this material, but this wouldn't have come about without strong leadership, and I want to just recognize President Chartier for recognizing the opportunity. I think he just, I guess you'll speak to it in a minute, but I just want to recognize the leadership of the Metis organizations generally by saying, since we've got an understanding and a growing relationship, let's formalize it in a document. And this wouldn't have happened without your leadership, sir, and I just want to recognize that and just say it'll be an honor to sign on. This wouldn't have happened today without you, and it's just, as I say, a delight for me to be part of it. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, and following up on those kind remarks, I do want to say that I think the leadership has come from all sides. I've had the opportunity to engage with the provinces, and provincial governments are willing to come to the table, so I think that's good. Of course, they wouldn't come to the table unless the federal government was showing leadership, and unless, of course, we were there and our governing members at the provincial level were there also, encouraging them to step forward. It's a great opportunity. I know that. I realize that. And I think for us, we have, I believe, come a long way. And I can't speak to things that happened beyond my influence. But from where I've been sitting over the past while, I have seen I guess a growing sense of comfort and ease and a blossoming relationship between your government, yourself, and also the Prime Minister. I can't neglect to say I'm very thankful to the Prime Minister for the kind words that he had both in the House and outside of the House in June. The private discussion I had with him was, I think, very convincing to me that your government is sincere in addressing the issues that we're bringing forward. Not saying here's going to be the results, but saying, okay, we're going to talk. And whatever happens will happen. But I do have confidence that as we do go along, that we will build a greater relationship, and that relationship will ultimately result in positive things for the Métis people, whatever that may be. And I fully put faith into the process that we're engaging in. I have full faith in your leadership, and I believe, again, the Prime Minister is sincere in saying, yes, we are going to move forward. I just want to say that I'm also thankful to the provincial presidents from the Métis Nation of Ontario, the Manitoba Métis Federation, the Métis Nation of Alberta, the Métis Nation of Saskatchewan, and the Métis Provincial Council. They wanted to be here, but weren't able to make it, but have looked at the document, are fully supportive. Of course, we've been talking about this for a long time, and in our nation, but with yourself specifically, since our great meeting on April the 8th, where we decided to work on a relationship and to start narrowing down the potential. And with your letter in June, and with this step, it just is a culmination of a series of events that I believe will be a strong stepping stone forward for us. I do look forward to engaging in this process with you specifically, and with the government in general. And I know with your leadership, your commitment, that we do have a great potential in moving forward and achieving the things that we've wanted to achieve. As a small token of our appreciation, we do have a small gift for you. It's meaningful to us, and we'd like you to accept. We do have two, one for your office here and one for your home. And
look at that.
yes.
Can I turn around these?
Yes.
Okay.
Just need a plank.
Yeah, on that side. So it goes on that side.
Leave the button done up.
Yeah.
This is my 10-pound thinner girdle.
Yeah, so hopefully this will, they will.
Get you to sign the document.
It probably works. Does it work? Did anyone check it?
Yes,
Because
it works.
it works? Okay, we'll use it then. Sometimes with ceremonial pens, it won't. You're gonna let me try first, well, I see.
If the federal government can't make it work,
We can make it
You're in
work.
trouble.
We did make it work. There you go.
well, once again,